Like I said, we're gonna be keeping it pretty casual. We're sitting here with one of my greatest friends,
Yeah, it's your boy Young
Mister.
Payne, man. Young Payne.
Yes, sir.
Drone shots by Payne, Let Motion Visuals,
Huh?
industry recording.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
MTM Motivate the Millions. We in here. What's going
Yeah.
on, TP?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. We're in here from last night, pretty late night.
Yeah,
Got some
you
work
know.
done. You brought me an artist. You
Yeah,
wanna
definitely
tell me a
live.
little bit about her? What's going on with her?
Yeah, her name is Catalea, and she's live. Shit, I can go
Yeah.
check her out on YouTube, social media. Um, she working on a few projects. Got a couple dope records that we gonna be releasing soon. She constantly working. Definitely got the energy, the vibe, image. You know what an artist need for real.
Yeah.
So yeah, just giving her some real support. So get this to the next level. That's what it's
Oh yeah.
about.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And I think there's always a time in one's life that you have to measure success by what you're able to do for other people. Because
Yeah,
I
of course.
think if you're successful, you were just lucky. But if you're able to replicate it, that really takes
Yeah, you got a
talent.
formula.
Yeah, that takes a network. And I think that really is what brings the most amount of success is supporting the people around you. And I know that you've seen my rise over the past 2 years, and from my very humble beginnings. Uh, big shout out to the Mac and Bridge show. They
Oh yeah,
introduced us,
definitely. Big
so
shout out
you know,
Uptown.
yep, yep, Bruno, and so I don't know, man. Like this is a pretty open forum, so if you have any questions for me or just to kind of chronicle what you saw as my rise over the past 2 years.
Nah, you already know what I say because we talk on a regular. And when we talk, it'd be business, it'd be of course, personal sometimes. But when we talk, what I'm saying, we talk to, of course, motivate the next one, and what I'm saying, put forward, what I'm saying, their best capabilities and exposing it in a way, so they
Mm-hmm.
can know how to manifest and use it. So that's all we be about, man. Like it's just a lot of people when it comes to like motivation and stuff like that, a lot of people don't want to show people proper motivation to help advance them. Everybody be worried about themselves, and then
Yeah. They're fearful. I think that's really what it comes down to,
yeah,
that nobody wants to put someone else on because they're fearful, when in reality, if you put somebody else on, the karma says that that's got to come back to you. So I think that there's a lot of people that really don't, whether or not they understand me or otherwise, where they're not really putting people in positions. And I think that that
and
level
in
of
real positions too at that, not just a position. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta understand, like people around you, you gotta see what their strengths are. Of course, you gotta look at the weaknesses, but
yeah,
weaknesses can only get stronger over
my
time.
dad always said, work your strengths and hire your weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's just a known fact. Like so, it's just like about this business and about everything. Is like you gotta have a team. You gotta have a real legit team behind you. You can't
Yeah.
have just anybody just what I'm saying they a manager or anybody saying they do this and that. And reality, are they doing it? You know what I'm saying? And are they really doing it? Are they doing it just to be cool? Are they doing it just to be around you? Or are they really doing it? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people when they work with a lot of people, they don't really think about that too much. You see what I'm saying? They don't really put forward they all in many ways that they can. You know what I'm saying? And
I've always considered myself a 150% in, 150% out kind of guy, and maybe I'm lucky
I say you
because
shorten yourself.
I think that there's a big situation with a lot of people that actually have jobs that are trying to do this, and we were talking about, you can't really do something unless you're all in. That if you're really, half-assing the quality or half-assing, anything. And when I get to a lot of shoots or when I get to a lot of different opportunities, a lot of people aren't looking for the best of the best, or, hey, we don't need to set the camera to 4K, or, in my mind, if we have the equipment, why aren't we using it? You know, and obviously, like there's a conflict over price, but really, how I look at it, I want to be the best person possible, really. And however that means, whether or not it's on the Wiz or working with Timeless and Double Sin with the DJ jams, we got to set that bar because if nobody else does, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And if nobody set a bar, how people gonna know what to reach for?
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
And that's the cross that I bear. I feel like, you know, and I've been very lucky working with College Beats and you know, shout out Trevor and
Yeah, shout out College Beats, man.
you know, it's been a big help and finding Cody with his smooth operating skills and cameras that he brings to the table. And I really think that, you know, we've been able to go to the camera store, drop a few bands, and not only walk out with a camera, but also walk out with the dude selling me the camera. How likely is that really to happen?
Shit.
And the only way that you're going to do that is with karma on your side. You know, that if you've treated people well in the past, the world's going to give you more good people.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and that you can really determine yourself by the company that you keep. And I think that's something that not a lot of people understand, because whether or not they've been hurt in their past, or I've just been very, very lucky with my family situation. You know, I was very lucky, you know, had a great childhood, and like I was 10 years old touring Europe, you know, with family, you know, meeting, you know, long lost uncles and, you know, visiting different places in the world. Like, I feel like I'm very cultured, and I think that not a lot of people come outside of their backyard, and in a lot of cases their neighbors are so close to them. You know, living out in the country, you know, having, you know, my own space, having my own dirt, you know, I feel like I can really be a part of the country because I own some of it. And not a lot of people are very lucky to have as much access.
Yeah, and that's a key thing to a lot of things for real, is just access. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like we gotta figure out a way to formulate a correct way to get artists the access that they need in certain situations, even in certain places. Like if we know that if we know artists need beats, they need coaching, they need this type of stuff, then we need people that's gonna be able to provide that type of knowledge and that type of business matter of knowledge to these artists, so they know what they doing and they know what they can, you know, they know how to capitalize off of, you know, what they trying to get out, you know, whatever they want to get out, you know what I'm saying, out the music industry or just in life general. So a lot of people got to sit down with these artists and start teaching them business, because if ain't nobody teaching them nothing, then they just gonna be clueless out here, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna really affect the way how music even move, even in the city or just period.
Yeah, and I tried to initially introduce myself, and I think this is how Mac and Bridge introduced me, was an industry consultant from outside of the industry. And that's how I tried to approach it, because I was trying to apply other worldly applications to the music industry, because I really feel like music and art, it's the most objective, you know, most subjective type of business.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's something that I tried to give some sort of objectivity, where when artists send me their work or when producers send me your work, I'm not the music guy. I'm the business guy. You know, I'm going to forward that to producers. I'm going to forward that to other beat makers, other artists, and let them decide. You know, as an outlet, I am not the final consumer.
Yeah, babe. And like, I call myself like a music consultant too, in and out. Like, I can see different things, like, and different sides. For one reason, like how you were saying, like you got the experience of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I got to live in different states. You know what I'm saying? So I seen the scenes in different cities, different neighborhoods, just different places, period. Different music scenes on top of that. I went to school in Florida, Full
Yeah,
Sail
talk
University.
talk a little bit about Full Sail.
Yeah, I went to Full Sail University. Got a scholarship out there. Really wasn't about to go probably to school for nothing. I wasn't thinking about it. Got that letter. It's like, hey, Florida, hot weather, and it's music. Okay, see what it's about. So end up going to school out there. Met a lot of real people. Still some of my bestest friends. Even still today, you know. Still still talk, still do business, still drop music, still even politic about the business. You know.
And then how'd you make it up to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Or was it Orlando first?
I went to Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went from Cincinnati to Orlando. I was out in Orlando for like probably like 3.5 years. Then ended up moving to Atlanta because I ended up getting a job out there, a nice job out there.
So what were you doing in Orlando?
In Orlando, I was going to school. Of course, I was networking, meeting DJs, meeting club promoters, working in actual studios. I used to.
Do you have any names that you can drop?
Yeah. I used to intern at KDS Studio. It's the #1 studio out there in Orlando, Florida. Shout outs to Michael David, Tony. They're the owners of it. And they just got a new building. Went from 5,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet.
You were talking about that?
Yeah. I'm going plan another trip down there. Another little artist tour. Used to do a lot of music down there. And then met people from like Gorilla Zoe. Cause Tony used to actually work for Conflict Music, so he used to actually studio manage one of Akon Studios in downtown Orlando, Florida. So I've been in there before.
Yeah, Akon's doing a lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen what Akon's been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a great businessman.
He's making big moves.
Yeah, he's a great businessman.
Yeah, opening up part of the world.
Yeah, giving people power, all types of stuff. Yeah.
And then after Orlando, where'd you go from there?
So after Orlando, I ended up moving to Atlanta, Georgia, or not even Atlanta, but Northside, Georgia, Lawrenceville, be exact. Northside, basically where the Migos and them from. Went down there, was intern at a couple studios out there. Patchwork.
Yeah.
Was interning at Patchwork down there with Curtis. That's the CEO of Patchwork. Met a lot of people through there. Drummer Boy, Waka. List goes on for real. Sunny Digital. A lot of people.
And during that time, whether or not, the contrast between Orlando, Atlanta, and Cincinnati, like, what would you say that you learned differently about, and in comparison to each place?
What I learned is how the process of music is and how they support the music. And when I mean by support, I mean fully support. Like when they have venues, these artists that's from these cities are the ones that's in the venues performing. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is like a main artist coming in that city or state, they still putting on, you know what I'm saying, the next upcoming artist out their city as an opening act. And by them doing that, they constantly getting them artists exposure, connections, all types of stuff. And I feel like that helps the artists just get what they want for real. Because they can build a great fan base, an actual legit fan base, a fan base that will pay, you know what I'm saying, to come out to see you or pay for your CD or, pay for whatever marketing tools you got, without even thinking about it for real, just because they support.
Yeah.
Atlanta, we all see what's going on down there. Florida's the same way too, especially in Orlando, because it's a college-based city for real. You got Full Sail, which is an entertainment school. They don't just do music; they do everything from entertainment, from video games. The guy that made Call of Duty actually went to Full Sail, and a whole bunch of people. So it's just the process and even the support that they get from their DJs. Like their DJs is actually the ones breaking their records out there. You know what I'm saying? They spinning it they going to these clubs playing it, whether they gotta play it, whether they got a chance to play it or not. They still making a way to do that. They making a way to get that artist, him or her, on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They finding a way to get these artists real interviews to these outlets. That's why the outlets is growing how they are out there, because they constantly getting, artists and stuff. So
Yeah, I just want to apologize to anybody. I'm getting this audio set up and getting all the levels right. It's a process. We've been remodeling the compound for the past going on, coming up on a year now. So this is really the first bit of content that I've really created in here. So it should be pretty exciting over the next year what we're able to do. And I definitely think that is a very strong case for what Cincinnati needs to look at. But I think at the same time, something that I really theorize about is society in general and people wanting to go out. That, ticket sales are at a record low. You've got virtual reality. You've got all kinds of emerging technology where, unless you want to pay an Uber $40 or $80, both ways, and then you want to pay for $100 in drinks or $40 in drinks or $50 in drinks. I mean, you bring a girl with you, let's say you even bring your family with you, that's a $300 night, and that's not even including the ticket itself.
yeah,
Then most tickets are pushing, and I think even like Matt, shout out to Doubleson, he was talking about the cheapest Metallica ticket was $300 and something. So that turns into a give or take $1,000 night, because guess what? If you can afford a 600 and something tab, that's pretty tough, and I think that is something that also needs to be considered, because we can talk about artist development, we can talk about shooting promo, but I also feel it's kind of like in the past a little bit, like the industry as a whole. Whether or not it's Napster that killed it, or LimeWire, or BearShare, people downloaded millions of tracks. The floor from the music industry completely got dissolved. So we've got to figure out new ways, completely new strategies to be able to put these artists, in position. I think that what I really try to focus on is people's personalities.
yeah, of course.
Because someone can be pretty, but if they don't have a personality, like, what are you really going to do with it?
If you hard to work with, don't nobody want to work with you.
Yeah.
They don't care how talented you are. That
Exactly.
doesn't get you that far.
Yeah, and
if you acting like you hard to work with, they're not gonna go out their way to work with you. That's just facts.
And what I'm talking about is like as far as products. So let's say I'm trying to get you to sell a product. There needs to be a organic, there needs to be an authentic type of vibe. And I'm not saying that you can't, go different routes, but that's something that I think about on a daily basis, that the whole economy as a whole, as far as kids not wanting to drink and drive, kids, not wanting to drink at all, so that really doesn't afford them the opportunity to, go out, because they don't really, there's a lot of kids with probably no friends either. So what are you going to do? Go spend, $300 on a concert by yourself? I mean, what about those people? So we've got to think about, ways where we could bring, entertainment delivered. I think, mobile entertainment. I think that's something that...
And that's what I was working on with this app called PLA, Play. Public listening audio.
Yeah, have you registered it?
Yeah.
Yeah, move over, and this is like, and it's not on video, man, so like, you need to be like, spank on, you know what I'm saying? Like, talk right into the mic, so, we're a little bit all over the place. We're coming up on 20 minutes. Do you have any questions for me?
What do you feel like this? What do you feel like?
Interview me, Payne.
What do you feel like? what do you feel like artists, as far as business wise, should handle first?
A logo. I think that's probably the most important thing, because if you can't believe in your brand, nobody's gonna believe in you.
Yeah, of course. If you scared to put $1 behind yourself, ain't nobody else really gonna do it.
Big shout out True Viz for hooking us
Oh
up.
yeah,
We wouldn't have
Livest
that.
in Ohio.
Yeah, for sure. He's the goat. Trying to have him come out. I want him to live here. I want True Viz to live at the compound. Right.
Shout out to True Viz.
Yeah. And because I think, like I said, logos are so important. And that's why you got to have somebody like that.
Yeah, as a part of branding,
on tap.
marketing.
So the logo would be number one, and then number two would be to create a. Give me a name. Give me an artist name.
Payne.
Payne. So let's say Young Payne youngpaynemanagement@gmail.com, right? So I'm about to give everybody the juice, right? We're 20 minutes in. So you got your logo, you got your management profile. Then you create an Instagram page, a Twitter page, a Facebook page, a SoundCloud page, Spotify if you're into that. Then you go in, create your profile picture with your logo, you create your banner with your logo, and then you start following. Find whatever hashtag, find whatever outlet in your area that supports artists, click on their followers, and just go down and just click about 100 people per hour. And be careful. And then figure out... Be careful, because if you go over, Instagram's going to hit you. So after you do that, go ahead and just start talking shit, really. Getting into the comments, getting into people's DMs, showing that you have a brand. And I don't want any scammy, generic type of, DMs. I mean, if you were an outlet, like, how do you like artists approaching you?
Well, if I was an outlet, the way I would like an artist to approach me is, for one, don't send me no beats that or no songs that you got off YouTube and that beat got like 1 million already views to it. Cause I'm pretty sure some like 5, 6 other people
YouTube
already,
beats. Yeah, I dealt with that. That was like a big lesson I learned in the beginning of the year, that I had an artist that I was getting behind, but he refused to use anything else but YouTube beats, and I just couldn't rock with that.
Yeah, like people don't understand like that. Them producers, they got contracts for real. Like like my homie, he even actually buys or leases the beats, and he just read the contract, and the contract says something like. Said some crazy stuff like the producer, of course, they got rights to the beat. They own 50% of the writer's publisher. So I'm like, dang, 50%. So they own basically the song in a way.
Yeah.
By you just downloading that beat and using it for free.
And then how are you gonna feel when I want my 10% for publishing on top of that?
Yeah.
You're gonna be walking around with,
nothing.
15 people in your bag.
Yeah, you're gonna be walking around with too many people in your pocket for you even see $1. Yeah. And they free to download, whether you convert it, whatever you think. Ain't nobody giving out free beats for real.
Yeah.
Unless you know somebody. And that's where you gotta
no, not unless you know somebody, but unless you have paperwork.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
But even just knowing somebody, like certain producers, if you have a business relationship with them, and they believe in you as an artist, you can go further than that person that's just grabbing 10,000 beats off YouTube for the last 5-6 years. Like,
yeah,
because the simple thing is when you sending that song to industry people, A&Rs, label submissions, stuff like that, just imagine how many people are sending songs, not even just in your city. Just in the United States.
Yeah, and these labels can't even touch you because there's a world of paperwork that awaits you.
That some of these artists are not worried about because they worried about making the money.
Yeah,
you gotta have the paperwork to make the money, so you know how much money you're making.
Yeah,
like a lot of artists don't even know how much
And the biggest thing is the reason why I told you to start a completely different page is I don't want to see anything personal on there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to see posts from 10 years ago. I want to see posts in the past 2 months. I would say that, you know, archive anything before 2 months. Really. I mean, this is business. And I think that that's something else that I've had to do over the past year is privatize everything, because I've kind of turned myself into a public figure of sorts. That I initially had the podcast, and that was nice and everything, but it really, really took it to the next level when, you know, after we came back from Post Malone, that I had so many people in my head, you know, coming after me. You know, and like I said, that artist that all he wanted to use was YouTube beats, that's what I was dealing with at that time too. So I was dealing with all kinds of just thirstiness.
Yeah, because everybody quick to make a dollar, but don't want to know how to properly make that dollar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I messed up because that's what I was looking for. I was looking to get paid. And I think anytime when it comes to money, things get very sticky. And fortunately, but unfortunately, I like treating people how I would like to be treated.
yeah,
So,
of course.
you know, that's exactly, you know, what I found. And but in a lot of situations, and I've heard Adam22 from No Jumper say this, is that if you give somebody something that has never had it and then you take it away, that they're not going to know what to do with themselves. You know, so I started feeling that my safety was being compromised. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I shut down the podcast and really stopped working, you know, as hard as I was, because I'm a bitch. I mean, I'm gonna say my life is not worth this. And I felt like the culture, you know, me being a business consultant from outside of the industry, that was putting me smack dab in the, you know, in the thick of it. You know, so that was definitely something that I had to learn for myself and kind of step back, consolidate a little bit, and get all my ducks in a row. You know, I went black for a good 2-3 months. You know, bought a new phone, got a new number.
Yeah, he was out the grid.
Yeah, like I had to just shut it all down. And I feel like every 6 to 8 months, I think you just got to do that. You know, go to, you know, I went to Best Buy, you know, got an iPhone X. The dude asked me, "You want to transfer your contacts?" I'm like, "No." Right? So, like, I was really able to consolidate, you know, all the work that I had done that previous year. And I really think that I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it wasn't for, you know, those experiences. But something else that I learned through that whole ordeal is the importance of loyalty, the importance of not taking ultimatums, because I think that in a lot of situations, people, you know, talking on College Beats a little bit, College Beats, their branding is very niche. You can only really go in so many different directions. So when you've got different entities that all want to work with TP, and my loyalty is with College Beats, because I wouldn't be in the industry, I wouldn't be even thinking about music if it wasn't for College Beats. So I've got to have some sort of reverence, some sort of respect for, you know, the OG at the end of the day. And so I think that although I do a lot of complaining, I think that at the end of the day, it was all, you know, all around productive, and now I can come back, you know, a year later and kind of give my story, you know, because at the end of the day, shit, if I'm not able to write a book about this stuff and it wasn't entertaining enough, like I gotta have shit to talk about that. You know, when I take these L's, I kind of think to myself, I'm like, shit, well, that at least gives me stuff to talk about, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but, you know, taking L's and failing. I mean, hey, that's the way to be a winner, though.
Yeah, 1,000 ways how not to do something.
Like, shit, you gotta take those failures and keep pushing. Don't stop.
From the outside looking in, during that time with me, what was your thought of the industry and what I had done and that whole situation?
I mean, I thought you did a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? I probably didn't get all the credit as far as from people, but I mean that come with it at the end of the day, you know. But I feel like you did a lot of work, even regardless of what anybody could say about you or how they even feel about you. You still did a lot of work because somebody else do the same thing.
Yeah, nobody else was doing it. Was I the first one with the podcast, would you say?
I wouldn't know if you was
Like
the first one.
to that level.
Yeah, I
like
would say
at that
something like
level.
yeah, at least the ones that I heard of. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. And then I mean, just the way you move around, the way you treat artists, the way you even go out your way to even help people, artists. You was
You know,
doing your thing.
a lot of people have put me on as well. Monty C. Benjamin, connected
yeah,
me with
yeah.
Donuts
I
and
mess with
Alcohol
Brad Music.
and Double Sin with the Cincy Secret Show. We wouldn't have the Freestyle Friday. Big shout out to Monty with connecting us with those guys and DJ Jado. And I met Monty the same time that I met Jay Guts. And Monty was always real busy.
Shout out to Jay Guts, man.
Yeah, Monty was always real busy going off to St. Louis and all kinds of different things. So, I got real close with Jay Guts. And that was a journey and a half. And I think that, like, really it just all came down to time, because I think that you could go to these events and none of these events really are doing anything productive. That a lot of these events, people are just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah,
just so they can
way.
post to Facebook like, hey, I've got a show at 8 p.m. come through. Like, I've been to dozens of shows and really the only people that are there are people in the industry themselves. And I think that for me to come out, spend, $10, $15 in gas, another $5, $10 in drinks. I get in for free because I got the camera, but I'm coming home, editing footage, and there's really not much footage to edit because there's no audience, and you got to be really careful. But,
definitely.
Jay Guts did get an opportunity off of one of my videos from the Mad Frog that South by Southwest guys saw it and said, wow, like, you still had a high level of performing when there wasn't even anybody in the room. And I think that is also something to respect from Jay Guts and also for other artists to understand is it's not always the people in the room. And like I was saying, entertainment delivered, right? That people are on social media, people, not just people, but outlets, companies, they're looking, and I understand you need to get that look out there, but, as a freelance photographer, videographer, it's real tough, going out to all these events and some other juice that I can share as well for a concept that I have is it's called a feature fundraiser. So rather than just having all these BS shows every week, you have the same show every week, and it's like, I don't know, like let's say we get Catalea. Let's say we get Catalea Rihanna feature, right? That we would have a Rihanna Catalina feature fundraiser. And that would be the event that we would have on a regular basis where everybody would support that show and would ultimately earn that artist that feature. And I don't want to say there could be, revenue sharing or anything like that, but think about it as like a Kickstarter or GoFundMe, but for artist features, right? But it would also be in a live format as well. So then people that are going to the shows can feel like they participate. So when that song comes out, they're like, oh, damn, like I was a part of that process. I think that that's something that could be really strong, and that I see is worth putting my time into, because then guess what you end up getting to use? The clout off of that bigger artist. You get to use the name, and even if you don't raise the $100,000 or $200,000, you may find a plug that respects your hustle and goes, hey, like I've got the $10,000 plug or $15,000 plug, and it comes with a music video because they really fuck with you, because they're putting your name in your mouth as an outlet. That's all positive stuff, and I think that is something that really needs to be respected, and I think that features are a huge thing. That I don't care what you say about clout chasing or heading out to Cali or heading out to Atlanta. You've got to put on for yourself, because if and I talk a lot about this, and I've always wanted to call the podcast Big Egos. Dr. Dre had a song dedicated to all those with big egos, never faking but keeping it real, and I think that as an entrepreneur, you have to be self-promoting. You have to put yourself on. And, nobody else is going to do it for you. And I think that that's also something that I've learned and I've really felt. What do you feel about that?
I'll say it one more time. I was lighting up.
Yeah. That what do you feel about egos? What are you thinking about self-promotion? What do you think about entrepreneurship, like outside of the music business? Like, how has that affected you?
Well, I mean, certain people's egos could definitely clash, I guess, in a way, especially when it comes down to business. But I mean, you just gotta know how to keep good people around you with egos that don't collide, but they help each other. You know what I'm saying? In a way, as far as getting business done. And as far as entrepreneurship and stuff like that, it's definitely like important for people to just know the fundamentals of business, so you know what you kind of getting yourself into, and what field you're getting yourself into. Outside the music, I like technology and stuff. I like inventing stuff. I like making stuff.
Yeah, you've got a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got a 3D printer. I make a whole bunch of stuff, from ashtrays to a whole bunch of stuff, man. I already got my ashtrays in a couple smoke shops. One out there in Woodline, and a couple up there in Springdale. I make makeup organizers for females. You can get that with your name on it. I make business card holders. Get your name logo on it. Make holsters.
Yeah, you do a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on vehicles as we speak. Drones. That's my thing right there. So
yeah, how can somebody get a hold of you as far as your drone work? Because I know, big shout out to Visuals by Al and Taisha.
Yeah, shout out to them.
They use a lot of your work.
And get your visuals by Al.
Oh yeah. So, how can people contact you about?
You can just hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up at Young Payne, Young Payne. That's the best way to get me. Or you can go on my Lit Motion Visual page. It's Lit with 2 T's, Motion Visual, on Instagram. Drone Shots by Payne hashtag. I've been doing drone work for over probably like 6 years now.
Yeah.
So I've been flying all types of drones, not even just
that's the one piece of equipment that I've never bought into. Yeah.
I've been teaching people.
Yeah. It's pricey. It's very risky.
I mean, it's risky if you don't listen.
Yeah.
And learn it.
But you have to like front that first cost of.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open up a flight school. I'm already starting drone racing. I'm doing a deal right now with Sports Plus. We're working out that, trying to get drone racing into Sports Plus. That's gonna be big. it's kids in other states right now, like 16, 17, making like 30 grand a raise. You know.
Well, if you need a DJ, what's up?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm gonna call you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you
Oh yeah,
for the media part too.
for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
might even want to get in a race one time.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, the drone industry, it's definitely a big industry. Like by 2020, it's gonna be set, I think, at like 25 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Because the applications for these drones is just getting so widespread. So it's like this industry is just growing rapidly.
Well, especially with vehicles and stuff as well. And I know Elon Musk talks a lot of shit about flying cars because you don't want someone to not have tightened down their hubcap and it comes and decapitates somebody. So I think that the technology does need to improve. And from what I have seen about Uber's vehicle and, you know, a few other companies, Casey Neistat, I think, has displayed one.
Yeah, Uber.
What are you talking about? There's no wheels. It's just like a landing pad.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Uber,
like nothing's gonna fall out.
Man, they got some stuff overseas.
But I think the other thing is noise pollution. Like that's something else that they need to overcome, and whether or not it's like some sort of, you know how Dyson has like the quiet fan, that they need to like hijack some of that technology, and the lift probably isn't going to be as strong.
Now somebody
So,
came up with a bladeless drone.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody came up with one.
Okay, well I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, it's out there.
Yeah, if we were on Joe Rogan right now, we'd pull up the the look of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been nice having you in the studio, bringing in your artist,
Oh, Catalea.
Catalea. You know, she's back for a second round. What do you think about the shop?
Oh yeah, you already know I think about it, man. I came here 2 days in a row.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice vibe. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's concrete block life, but my uncle actually just gave us a quote for insulating the back part of the building. So yeah, it's a process, and I think it's a big building, and I think
Nice building,
I'm
too.
gonna drop the ceiling, but drop the ceiling in the bigger part. I haven't really done a lot of videos of the building yet because it's not very pretty. But
it look nice, man.
yeah, I mean, at least the offices and the bathroom is done as well. But you know, I wanted to make females feel comfortable. You know, you gotta want them, to come back.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of different purposes, multi-purpose space. You know, did you feel comfortable in the bathroom? Is it nice? So that was my biggest priority. I was like, we gotta make the bathroom
Yeah,
nice.
definitely. You gotta
I've
have
got
good
I've
toilet
got a
paper.
mirror that I haven't put up though yet. So the mirror's looking lit. Yeah, but I'll show it to you. It's beautiful. It's like stainless steel. But I just haven't had time to put it up. It's like a recessed mirror. It's supposed to go on the wall, but guess what? We've got concrete block, so that's not really.
Yeah.
It's not really the play.
Try some
I
Gorilla
should've-
Glue.
Oh no! I mean, there's like actual brackets that you have to like screw in, but it was a bad choice. I shouldn't have got such a nice recessed mirror. It's probably like, I don't know. I don't want to start, my flossing my mirror game. Gotta. But like I said, I wanted it to, and the countertops are nice. Like they're not real granite, but like they have a nice look to them, and I think the kitchen's lit. I've got a stainless steel refrigerator that is at another property that we have. So, but I'm not bringing the refrigerator. The refrigerator we have is pretty dope. Lunar Thought wants to record like a horror scene in the kitchen with the green fridge.
I want to be in a horror movie so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Hey.
Oh yeah. Well, I've actually got, to tell you the truth, I've actually got a guy that I met in Vegas that has like a $40,000 to $50,000 budget for a horror movie that he's bringing to Cincinnati. Right.
I know people that do like that horror type makeup too.
Yeah.
So
So that's actually a part of why this place is here, is that we're going to be filming a Netflix / Hulu / Amazon movie, a horror movie. Because like down the road there's
It's a lot of creepy stuff.
There's like a
around here.
barn, not a barn, but like it's like a covered bridge, right? But he actually just came back from Israel, so I don't know if like the dude went to Israel, got the script, got the lowdown, and then is bringing it back. But he sent me these movies, and it's basically he creates Jewish comedies. If that makes any sense, like people in hospital beds with what are they called? Not the priests. That's kind of sacrilegious. But the what are the Jewish religious leaders' names? Like where do they go by?
So they go by the
Shit. We need to look that
the
up.
Pope.
Not the Pope, but like they're oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Google, let's see what you got. It's been a long night. Lots of editing. That's also something that I can complain about quite a bit is my sleeping schedule. You know, with Freestyle
What's sleep?
Friday, that you know, we shoot a lot of the freestyles, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday is usually when we drop. So it really is quite damaging to my health and my lifestyle. So that's also something that I'm working on. But hopefully, you know, I don't want to get too announcy, but you know, hopefully something will be percolating up in Columbus. So hopefully it'll all be worth it. We'll keep on moving up. But yeah, so a rabbi. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he went to see his rabbi or what exactly, but the comedies of rabbis inside of hospitals, like making jokes and stuff. It's hilarious. This guy, and he always bragged. I don't know if I should expose his name, but he has different investors, and the only weird part is he bragged about how he didn't have to pay any money. That like the whole production crew, all the actors, the only thing that he had to pay for was food, like $200 worth of food, right? So I think.
Hey Al.
All right, let's get him on the podcast.
Hey bro.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, I was just talking about you on this podcast, man. You just called me.
Sitting here with TP.
I got you on speakerphone now.
Put him in the microphone. Hey, what's up, Al?
what's going on?
What where you at?
Shit, I'm in the middle of something. I'm going to call somebody else for real. Because I'm in the middle of something right now. Can I call y'all right back?
Okay. All right. Al's busy.
Yeah.
Get your visual shot by Al.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, brother.
That was the legendary Al. He's the most humble guy. Like I would consider myself pretty low key, but Al is like on a completely different level.
Oh yeah, he cool peoples, man.
Yep. He's the coolest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, and his videos turn. Shit, lit.
Yeah, him and Stoner Vision, I think, on that
Oh yeah, shout out
Blue-
to Stoner too.
that Blueface disc got like 300,000 views
Oh, no,
or 200,000
that's up
views.
there now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you look at it though, like think about like I actually listened to like the other Blueface disc and it sucked.
Oh yeah.
Like the one that's under it, like that was a power move right there.
Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
to Al and Stoner.
For sure.
Oh yeah, shout out to Spig too, man.
Yeah, and he'll be coming through as well. And
Oh yeah.
I think this audio format is a lot more relaxed. I think, you know, take some high res photos, you know, throw up a photo like that and it can just be slamming. And I kind of want to ask her a few things about what she thought of her photos, or have you sent her anything?
Yeah, it's sent there.
Okay. I don't know, but yeah. So I mean, we can wrap it up. You know, we're coming up on like 50 minutes. I don't know if I don't know how long you want to stay, bro.
I mean, nah, I'm ready to eat. I got to
You're
get my
ready to eat.
Chipotle.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah,
All right, man. Well, you know, thanks for coming out.
you already know.
This was Dat Dude TP with Young Payne, Lit
Yeah.
Motion Visuals, Industry Recordings, The Photo Lounge.
Yeah,
Get yourself lit, even in the dark, with your ashtrays.
Yeah,
you know, 3D
Payne made.
printing. Yep.
You know, go to Smoke Shop, Majed Smoke Shop in Woodline.
Yeah. How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. Best way to find me, Young Payne, Young Payne. You know, get your drone shots, get studio time, get your beats, get some business consulting. You know.
You've got models on lock as well.
Oh yeah, get you some models for your
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah. Baby oil. You know, kiddie pools. You know, make your fight night lit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should have talked about that a little bit.
Oh yeah,
You know, the scam that you were running last year for the Floyd
that
Mayweather
was no
fight.
scam, man.
Yeah, no fight, but you know, we got plenty of baby oil.
All right. Yeah, that was no scam.
You got nothing to say on that.
Yeah, cause you talking shit. Yeah.
All right.
All right. We off.